Marika here with another card tutorial, and today I'm going to color with some Ranger stickles and some liquid pearls. But first I have a tip. I didn't really know how, I have had an inclination of what I want to do, but not fully how I wanted to put everything. So what I did was use a bit of copy paper and just stamp the stamps onto them, not caring that they're overlapping, because this is just an example for me how I wanted things to look. And then I'm just inking the stamps up and stamping them just on top of each other, and then I this is how I want it. The paper I have kind of have the same size of how my card base would be. So then I'm going to go in with those candles, which comes from the With Candles and Glitter stamp set by Create a Smile Stamps. I'm stamping them in some MFT steel grey ink onto some, my favorite thing, Make It Crafty blending cardstock, because I am going to color them with Copics first before coloring them with glitter. You can use any paper if you're not using Copics. If you're using watercolors, whatever, you can use watercolor cardstock. It's just that I thought it would be easy to do it with Copics. The candle flames I'm coloring in with some white 20s because I want them to be a little bit dull. I don't want the flames to stand out from the rest of the neutral palette. So I kind of making them all a little bit dull to kind of just make it a little bit more neutral. And then I'm just dimensioning the whole candles with my grays, my toner grays. So the T4, T2, the T0 and the colorless blender. And as you see here on the round candle, my T0 is actually running out of ink. So it is quite important to try to keep your pens UC, because that will help you blend. My blending wasn't perfect on the zero candle, but on the round candle, but it works. It works. Then I kind of figured that the long candle was a little bit too white. I wanted to have some details on it, so I made a mask from the copy paper that I previously tried things out on by cutting inside of the candle, and then I'm using the stars that comes from the same stamp set to add the kind of star details onto the candle. So that's how I made my little details. That also helps, then I can cut it out with a little bit of a white border without having to worry about the things I stamped over. Then we're starting with the coloring. Now there's two ways of coloring with these kind of glitters. Either you want this very thin layer of glitter, then I would recommend actually doing a bottom color of a color that matches with the glitter you're using. This is the platinum glitter. Apparently I have a whole bunch of them, so I probably need to use them up. Then I'm using some silver glitter onto the big one, and here you can see that I'm actually tapping it out. When it's a thicker layer, which is the second way of coloring, you want to tap it out with the help of your brush. Just tap, 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 tap to try to get an even layer of glitter, because I wanted so much glitter. And here you saw me kind of dipping it into the other stars, and I did that because I got too much glitter on the brush, so I just kind of dipped it off on the other stars, and then I'm filling them out after I go. And for finishing details on this, I'm using some liquid pearls, gold pearl, onto the flames, where I'm using a thin water out layer for the whole flame, and then for the middle of the flame I'm using it directly out of the bottle to get a little bit of dimension into that middle part. Then we're going to make our sentiment, and we're gonna heat emboss this in some liquid pearl, and I'm using some Versamark ink on this, and I didn't get it to stamp completely 100%, and you can stamp it several times, but you can also use a pen like this, which is a the brush pen with that same ink in, to fill those out. And then I'm just adding my liquid platinum onto embossing powder on top of it, and I'm heat embossing it to get that kind of liquidy feeling. For all of these candles, I'm actually cutting them out with a little bit of a white border just with my scissors, because it's easy, and I thought it would be perfect because I had an idea I might have a border of some other cardstock beneath these. And I'm using some Midnight cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. I started out with this wider piece, and again I wanted to show you the kind of thought process I went through, and then I kind of realized that this wider piece might be a little bit too wide, so I shortened it down, and I still felt that it is too wide. I just happened to have a cut-off piece that was a little bit smaller, and I'm like, yeah, this will be perfect. This is how I want it. So I put it up the way I wanted it, and then I took a card base that I made myself from some Nina Solar White cardstock. I'm gonna put the Midnight cardstock in the middle. I think it is 1.5 inch wide, or it's 1.25, but anyhow, it's as wide as my card base. It's a standard A2 card base. Then I'm just carefully lining that up. For the candles, I'm using some 3M Scotch foam tape on the back side. I'm starting by cutting, I always cut a little strip away so that I have a strip to work with, and then I'm doing small teeny tiny squares on the back side of the flame, because it's important that they have hold, otherwise they can actually fall loose. So I have the little extra foam underneath those little, or I have a foam underneath the flames. Then I'm cutting these. This is a little bit fiddly, but it gives a great result. I'm cutting some of this foam into teeny tiny pieces, and I hide them on the back side of the lettering. Wherever the lettering is a little bit thicker, I hide these little pieces. And then I'm using my quickie glue pen on some of the details, just so that they would kind of stick to the candles and have a little bit more of that fastening, so they fasten a little bit better. But yeah, that is the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below, and down below you find all of the details of this card. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!